Hey there, colleague. How in the world are you? Welcome to another Thoughts Worth Thinking video. Here's the thought. What would be the worst thing that would happen if this year you could only be 80% of the teacher that you're capable of being? What's the worst thing that could happen? I want you to think about it. I remember a couple years back, a good friend of mine I was talking to, and I was kind of complaining about how I feel pulled in every direction in my life. My family needs a lot of time. My marriage needs a lot of time. My classroom needs a lot of time. This class needs time. This class needs time. That project I'm working on as a teacher needs time. My writing, and my friend said to me, okay, well, Dave, what's the order of your values? I said, well, I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good teacher. I want to be a good writer. He said, all right, it doesn't sound like you're wanting to get rid of any of those things, right? I said, no, I don't want to get rid of any of those things. He said, well, let me ask you this. It seems like you're a pretty great teacher, Dave. And I said, well, I'm not that great. Okay. He said, look, man, what would be the worst thing that would happen if you were just 80% of the teacher that you could be? If all your students could get was 80% of your potential, would they still have a good teacher? Because you're always telling me, Dave, you're always telling me that our goal should be to be a good teacher. Not the best teacher, but a good teacher. So if your students only got 80% of what Dave Stewart's capable of as a teacher, what would the worst thing that would happen be? And I sit there and I think about that. He said, don't answer the question. Think about it. Walk around with it. And, at first I really had a difficult time with it. My students deserve 100% of me. But over time I realized, gosh, though, if I'm always striving for 100% of me, that last 20% is really, really, really hard to produce. That last 20% is the most difficult 20%. And it causes a lot of pressure, a lot of internal pressure. That pressure can actually emanate out into my students in my classroom. It can emanate out in my family. It's a lot of pressure. So what if you could just do 80%? It's B-. So over time, I just accepted that I'm 80% of the teacher that I could be. That's what I'm striving for. I'm done trying to do the 100% of my ability lesson, because the 80% of my ability lesson is pretty good. And don't get me wrong, being 80% of the teacher that you could be, it doesn't mean that you're not trying to get better every year. Of course you're trying to get better. We're going to be here. Might as well be trying to get better, right? But I'm not trying to get better with 100% of my energy. I'm trying to get better with about 80% of it. And some of y'all are real literal, so don't take the percentage thing literally. It's an idea, okay? It's a thought worth thinking. And the thought worth thinking is if you can be 80% of what you're capable of this year, if you can give yourself permission to be 80% of what you're capable of, it might just give you some breakthroughs. What are the fundamentals of a good lesson? How do I just get super, super good at those fundamental things? Opening the lesson, being clear about where we're going, providing a handful of reading, writing, speaking, listening, learning opportunities for all students, giving the proper scaffolding and instructions so the students know not just what they're supposed to learn, but how to most effectively learn. You'll just have to start to get to those fundamental things, and then as you continue to invest 80% of your energy into getting better at those things, here's what I've noticed. All of a sudden, man, if I look back at the teacher that I was 5 years ago, I'm a lot better, but I'm also a lot less stressed, because 80%'s pretty good, and 80% of you is pretty darn good too. Good talk.